Kaelen's energy blades sliced through the shimmering temporal distortions, each stroke a desperate gamble. The sheer density of energy radiating from the vortex felt like a physical weight, pressing down on him, threatening to crush him. He ignored the sting of errant chronophage tendrils lashing out, his focus laser-locked on the swirling heart of the anomaly. Rhys' status on that frequency, he roared, his voice distorted by the chaos. Rhys' fingers blurred across the diagnostics panel, sweat plastering his dark hair to his forehead. Stabilizing, Kaelen. It's complex. It's not just a frequency, it's a pattern, almost musical, and amplifying it, attempting to create a resonance within the anomaly's core. It's risky. We could destabilize the entire structure. We're already destabilized, Rhys. Do it. Kaelen pushed forward, deflecting a wave of chronophage energy with a shimmering shield generated by Lyra's neural disruptors. Lyra's voice, clipped and professional, crackled in his ear. Chronophage numbers are increasing. High-ranking chronophage is attempting to breach the perimeter. She unleashed a volley of neural disruptors, momentarily staggering the colossal creature. I can't hold them off indefinitely. From a flickering holographic projection, Elara's voice, fragmented and tinged with an unbearable sadness, echoed the resonance that's tied to his sacrifice. Not of life, Kaelen, of something held dear. A memory, a truth, something intrinsic to the Concordance itself. Kaelen felt a jolt of understanding, a sudden, sickening clarity. The archives, the unwritten histories. They were sealed away for a reason, weren't they? The truth about the founders, the real cost of the Temporal Lock. He hesitated, releasing that information, would shatter the carefully constructed foundation of the Concordance, unleashing a storm of political upheaval and potentially plunging them into civil war. But the alternative was annihilation. Do it, Kaelen, Elara urged, a holographic image wavering. The Serpent demands balance. The Concordance was built on a lie. With a grim resolve, Kaelen input the command. The archives, once deemed too dangerous, were unlocked. Images and text flooded the holographic displays, revealing a history of manipulation, betrayal, and suppressed knowledge. The truth about the founders, their origins, and the true purpose of the Temporal Lock spread like wildfire throughout the Concordance's network. Simultaneously, Rhys unleashed the amplified sonic frequency. The anomaly shuddered, the swirling vortex momentarily solidifying. The high-ranking chronophage staggered, its movements jerky and erratic. The tendrils that lashed out became weaker, less coordinated. It's working, Rhys exclaimed, relief flooding his voice. But the effect was fleeting. The vortex began to spin faster, more violently. The images of the archives bled into the swirling energy, distorting the reality around them. The Serpent is resisting, Elara warned. The resonance isn't enough. The sacrifice must be complete. Kaelen stared at the swirling vortex, his mind racing. What was the final sacrifice? What more could he possibly give? Then he saw it, a faint, ethereal thread connecting him to Elara, a psychic link that had sustained him for centuries. He understood. To fully contain the Serpent, the link had to be severed. He would lose his connection to Elara, to the memories and knowledge she held, to the comfort and guidance she provided. It would be an unbearable loss, but it was the only way. He reached out, his hand trembling, and began the process of severing the psychic link. A wave of icy dread washed over him as the connection began to fray, the familiar warmth of Elara's presence fading into the void. Kaelen knew Elara's voice was a whisper, lost in the roar of the vortex. The link snapped. A blinding wave of energy erupted from the anomaly, engulfing everything in its path. When the lake subsided, the vortex was gone. In its place was a swirling pool of shimmering energy, contained and stable. The high-ranking chronophage, weakened and disoriented, retreated into the shadows. The remaining chronophages, deprived of their connection to the anomaly, dissolved into dust. Kaelen stood alone, the silence pressing in on him, heavier than any physical weight. He reached out, instinctively searching for the familiar connection to Elara, but there was nothing. Only an emptiness, a void where her presence once resided. Rhys approached cautiously, his face etched with concern. "Kaelen, are you all right?" Kaelen looked at him, his eyes vacant, his mind reeling from the loss. He had saved the Concordance, but at what cost? He remembered Elara's final words, a faint echo in the silence. Balance is always achieved through sacrifice. He looked out at the crimson sands of Xylos, a lone figure standing against a dying sun. He had averted annihilation, but the future of the Concordance, and his own fate, remained uncertain. The truth was out, the foundation shaken. The real battle, he knew, had just begun. He was adrift, a leader without a guide, a hero forever marked by the sacrifice he had made. The Serpent was contained, but the echoes of its demands lingered, a constant reminder of the price of balance. He now had the unwritten histories to guide him, but who was he to lead?